Hi, I'm Hannah and you're watching Disney Channel. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep, that's me.
Hello, beautiful bookish people. My name is Hannah and today I have a very exciting video for you today. There's kind of been this trend of reading like your childhood favorite books. And here's the thing that might surprise you. I was not a reader growing up. Whoa. I know. I think it might have to do with like dyslexia and like developing the reading skill. I didn't really get into reading until Percy Jackson, but that is another story for another time. But I was really like a Disney Channel kid. But I was just obsessed with Disney Channel, and so today I thought it would be cool to kind of read the source material for 3 Disney Channel original movies. I'm doing parentheses because like one is not technically a Disney Channel movie, it's Mean Girls, but like in my mind I watched it during the same time. It's fine, I can do that. This is obviously inspired by like Books and Lala, who has been killing it with these kinds of videos, but the one that really inspired the idea is my friend Megan, and she just goes on this emotional roller coaster reading all of her favorite childhood books, and I'll link her in the description because she's great and you should check her out. But moving right along, let's just talk about our first book, which is the source material for Mean Girls. Now, this is Queen Bees and Wannabes. I'm sorry, I don't have the dust jacket because it's awful and it needs a cover redo. Like, stop focusing on the diviners. But before, I didn't know that this is kind of like a self-help book for moms and how to deal with their teenagers and kind of the psychology of breaking down like cliques and boyfriends and Halloween parties and drinking and like all that stuff, and I found it super interesting. After the first time I read it, I went back through and I like tabbed certain things because I have another idea for another video that will probably happen soon. We'll see, don't put pressure on me, but just kind of like pinpointing the different aspects that Tina Fey pulls from this book, because there's like direct correlations. Because there's like this one line that's like, we only wear our hair up once a week, and like that's from this book. Because
Girl World had a lot of rules.
You can't wear a tank top 2 days in a row, and you can only wear your hair in a ponytail once a week.
But what this author does is kind of like breaks down the positions of like how a clique functions, what your daughter could possibly be, and how to spot the differences. So there's like Queen Bees, who are like the ultra popular girls who are the leader and can influence girls. There's like the banker who keeps the secrets, and that's why they're scared to kick them out of the group because they have so much tea on everybody. All this stuff that I just found super interesting, and honestly, I don't think I will look at Mean Girls the same way again, but like in a good way, because like you can mentally break it down like what Tina Fey is pulling from and trying to tell the story with. It's written in 2002 and I feel like it's still accurate. It kind of breaks down like what girls will do when they lie to their parents, you know, like kind of putting that kernel of truth so that they can like fall back on it. Oh yeah, I'm going to Ashley's house and then going to a party later, so if they get caught they can be like, well, we went to Ashley's house in the beginning, we all did this, don't lie to me, we did. But it talked about boyfriends, and why most high school relationships don't last is because they're comparing that relationship to their high school best friend, like constantly wanting them to be with them, be the same person as them, and share all the same opinions, where really that doesn't work romantically. But like girls are constantly comparing their boyfriend to their best friend. Fails, but that's just like the skim surface of it. Don't go into it thinking you're gonna get like Mean Girls with more detail. Like, that's not what this is. It's just a self-help book for moms whose daughters are in high school who want to help them out. But for me, it was super cool. I could tell it was not gonna stay. Alright, the next book I read was Lemonade Mouth. And Lemonade Mouth was kind of like my second favorite after High School Musical. Lemonade Mouth is about this group of kind of misfits, and they all meet in detention and realize, oh my gosh, I can play the ukulele, I can play the drums, I can play the stand-up bass. We're all quirky and have like different struggles. Let's make a band. And kind of the journey through school, self-discovery, and like all that stuff. And it was surprisingly a very faithful adaptation. Like all of the kind of core concepts were there, like meeting in detention and the Halloween bash and stage fright. Actually, because in the movie there's this whole aspect of stage fright that kind of just like disappears after one performance of Determinate. And like, I love Determinate, but it doesn't cure stage fright. Kind of my initial thought on Lemonade Mouth is Lemonade Mouth walked so Daisy Jones could run. Taylor Jenkins Reid who? Because it's kind of told through this narrator named Naomi, and she's collecting interviews from two of the band. One is an English paper, I'm pretty sure, and you kind of get different stories kind of from different elements of media, which is really cool. You definitely get more insight to their struggle as like teens and stuff. And my favorite character in the movie is Mo, and she was definitely my favorite character in the book. Now Mo is a Indian girl who's kind of stuck between two worlds of wanting to be that like perfect Indian daughter, but also trying to like express who she is as a person. Mo dates this jerk that's a popular guy, and in the movie, spoiler alert, the jerk and Mo end up together. But in the movie, I shipped Charlie and Mo so hard, and it didn't happen. But guess what, guys? Guess what? It's canon. It's in the book. And I was really living my best 12-year-old dream, seeing my OTP finally be legit. Disney Channel, you have no excuse. You should have made it real. Moving on to like a kind of aspect that I didn't really like, there's a character named Quinn. Quinn has a crush on his new stepmom, and it's weird.
And
yeah, she's very young. She's described as like being someone who's taking college classes, so like, I guess I understand, but I'm definitely glad they changed that, because gave me not that great of a feeling in my stomach. So bottom line is, would I recommend Lemonade Mouth for nostalgia? Yes, you can knock it out in like a day and be fine. But if you have no connection to Lemonade Mouth, no, because it's like, it's pretty childish, I would say. Is it good? Not the best. But is it fun? Yes. Moving along to the most negative one, Geek Charming. Okay, Geek Charming is a lot. Now, Geek Charming is about this girl named Dylan, and she is the most popular girl in school, alright? And one day, she accidentally drops like some, designer bag into like a fountain at the mall, and kind of like bullies this guy into getting it for her, like a nerdy film guy. And the only reason he gets it is because he says, if you promise to be my subject for my documentary. Dylan's like, of course, just get my designer bag. And he does, and Dylan's just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna blow this nerd off. Until the next morning, she wakes up to find that this film nerd has come to her dad and said like, yeah, she promised she'd do this, and her dad is going to make her go through with it. And Dylan, how do I describe Dylan? It's like reading Cher from Clueless. Like, you don't want to be inside of their head. Like, it's fine to like visually watch them, but like being inside their head, it's very petty, and it was definitely hard to get through. It got old so fast, it's not even real. I also always have a problem with like teen speak when the author is trying to use slang inside of their book, because it doesn't age well. Like, this book was published in 2009 and it feels 20 years old because of the teen speak. I also don't like the like pretentious film nerd character where it's like, I'm obsessed with Woody Allen. And I was like, bro, you should not be saying that right now. Liking Woody Allen isn't a personality trait, my guy. It's also interesting. I'm like jumping into the end because I don't want to talk about Geek Charming that much longer. But in Lemonade Mouth, there's a ship that's canon that I loved. And in Geek Charming, spoiler alert, does anybody care? In the movie, they end up together. But in the book, they don't. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like kind of cool. It's kind of like an alternate ending that I don't see that often, because like Dylan needs to like figure herself out and try to gain more independence and all this stuff. I was like, yes, this like might bump it up a star just based on like the ending that I don't see that often. And then like out of the blue, she just like, the author just shoves her into a relationship when I was like thinking it was gonna end in this place of separation. And I don't mind coupling at the end, but if your whole message is like, I want Dylan to be independent, she doesn't know who she is, she needs to figure herself on her own, and then just shove her in another relationship that's not solving anything. Like, I want Dylan to be alone. Like, sometimes it's okay to let characters be alone.
Mornings need to wake up and smell the coffee. You don't need a man to get where you want to go in life.
I don't know, I got a weird vibe because I was like, I like the idea of the ship not being together at the end, but if you're just gonna shove her into something else, what was the point, you know? So if you couldn't tell, I didn't really like Geek Charming, would not recommend. I gave it 2 stars, mostly because of nostalgia, and I feel really bad about giving books 1 star. But yeah, that was my experience reading the source material for kind of my childhood favorite movies. If there was one for a Cinderella story, would have ate that up. Let me know if you like this, if you want to see more of it, but thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Keep reading and all that jazz. Me getting paranoid. This is obviously inspired by like Books and Lala. This is obviously inspired by like Books and Lala. I'm so sorry. Do you see this? It's like so 2000s, I'm screaming. Girls can kind of be dictators. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Okay, so kind of my initial thought on Lemonade. What? Oh my gosh. No, is anyone gonna care about like my Disney Channel stories? I don't know. Me spoiling Lemonade Mouth. Man, people need to breathe it because they feel uncertain. Like, stop. Oh my gosh, excuse me.